what up? It's Papa Swoleo. Flex 'em if you got 'em. What's up, bitches? To episode 406 of the Daily Mother... A Swole, the most muscular podcast, Swolecast, livecast, broadcast in the realm, because when I flex, you flex, we all flex our biceps. Welcome on a rainy as fuck Flex Friday.
The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, the bacon is sizzling. Welcome to the Daily Swole.
Welcome. Remember, those of you that have been watching my Instagram stories, you can get the 90-day dash. Today is Flex Friday special, so click the link in the description here of my Facebook post, or you can click the link in my Instagram profile. Use the code Flex Friday to get absolutely hooked the fuck up for the 90-day dash program. Running an awesome special today for 90-day dash. That being said, so if any of you are going to the gym and you're fucking walking around like you're in Best Buy, like just absolutely lost, like you know that's where you're supposed to be, but you have no idea what to do there, that's for you, because you need to get started. And this weekend, and I said this in my Instagram story, I thought it was really interesting, I like doing these things and making fucking awesome offers on a Friday, because it forces you to say, fuck you, Friday. Fuck you, Friday. This is my Friday. This is how I want to roll my Friday. This is how I want to do shit. I'm not going to fucking punch out, go to happy hour, drink, and be a fat piece of shit. I am going to take advantage of my life. I am going to make the change now. I think it takes balls. I think it takes balls to start on a Friday. I think it takes balls to fucking get your shit amped up on a Friday. I think that takes a certain kind of person. I think that takes some serious fucking stones if you get amped up on a Friday. So, and you get amped up and you start fitness on a Friday and you jump onto a program and you kind of make that change on a Friday. I think that takes a certain strength inside a person. So one of the reasons why I do that is to make sure I weed out the people that just don't really care. I'm not here to sell you a program. I'm here to make you an offer and help you. And it's such a fucking good program, I don't have to sell it. And those of you that are on Facebook and shit that have done it already, you know, it's a great fucking thing. So now's the day to take advantage of that. So welcome. Thanks for joining me live every day at 12 noon Eastern time right here on Facebook. Thanks for watching on YouTube and listening to the podcast on SoundCloud and iTunes. I'm actually live right now also on Instagram. So welcome to fucking everyone. Welcome to everyone. Let's flex it, everyone. I don't care. I know we already flexed. Let's do it again. You ready? And a little bit of grunt. Ready? Hold on. Ready? Yeah, that was nice, wasn't it? That was nice. Let's talk a little bit about chesticles, because today is Flex Friday. So let's talk about reverse bench. Let's talk about something a little bit specific. Let's talk about some strategy. I got my massive coffee cup and it's huge. It's the size of my fucking face, because it has to be to hold all the massive liquidy gains that Papa Swoleo needs. And you can see a lot of cool shit. I've been doing a lot of vlogging, been doing a lot of like one-on-one behind the scenes stuff on Instagram stories and also on YouTube. So if you haven't checked that out, you can check that out. Don't worry. I wish I can give you coffee through the Oh, it's so fucking good. So let's talk about the chest. Let's talk about hitting different parts of the chest. A lot of people think that there are like, upper, middle, lower, inside, outside. There's actually only two parts of the chest. There's the main area of the pectoralis major, and then there's the clavicular fibers. So you have muscle fibers that attach onto the sternum, and you have muscle fibers that actually come up here and make up a little bit of that separation. That's why when you see bodybuilders super lean flexing and they're super developed, you can get some separation in your upper chest, because there are sternal fibers and there are clavicular fibers, different little split in the muscle. Now, in order to hit the upper fibers, just because you don't have like an outer chest and an inner chest muscle, you still have fibers that can be mechanically manipulated and torn and damaged in certain areas. So let's talk about reverse bench and the upper chest. So some of you, if you have heard of reverse bench, if you have done reverse bench, you can drop in the comments and let me know and say, hey, Papa Swole, I've done reverse bench, because I'm curious to see if you've done this before. That's when you grab the bar upside down or in a supinated grip, not pronated. And ironically, what people normally do when they want to hit the upper chest is that they go to the incline bench. And studies have shown that when you go to the reverse bench, which is the flat, when on a flat bench, you just reverse your grip, it actually, I think it activates like 5 or 6 times the amount that an incline bench does for the upper chest. So in terms of the actual like physiology of it, I'm sure it has to do with when you turn your hands underneath, it activates more of the biceps muscle, or the biceps brachii, which crosses the shoulder joint. I'm sure it probably innervates different nerves and maybe innervate the nerve fibers in the upper chest more. I'm sure it has something to do with that, or the flexion of the shoulder as you're going through the bench pressing movement, more so than when you're internally rotated when you're doing a standard bench press. But that's really neither here nor there. The fact is that reverse bench works. I've applied it and I love it. When I do reverse bench, I feel a lot more in my upper chest. I feel a better pump. I actually feel a lot less pressure. You'll also find generally that you'll be doing less weight. So one of the things with bench press, and the reason why it's one of the classic exercises, is because it's one of the most basic. It's, you know, you push, you pull. It's like a deadlift or a row or an overhead press, a squat, and a bench press. You know, you have every body part has like one basic compound movement, multi-joint movement that you can do. When you go for a reverse bench, when you go for a regular bench press, you'll notice that if I go like this, you'll see the position of my shoulders. This is usually how you'll hold a bar for a bench press. Now, inside the shoulder, when you're internally rotated and your shoulder is abducted, is out to the side, you get a lot of pressure oftentimes in the shoulder joint, because you might not realize what the shoulder looks like, but when you get into the shoulder, and this is gonna get interesting because I'm gonna start drawing shit, you have the head of the humerus, this is the arm bone, and then you have like some bones that come over here. You got the scapula, you got the clavicle, you know, scapula, you know, this is the person's face, but this is like the arm bone. But you have like all this little space here, and you have muscles coming through and around the side and from the front, from the chest. You have like a little space here. There's a little gap, there's a little space, and a lot of you might be familiar with this, especially if you've torn your rotator cuff or you have inflammation. It hurts when you raise your arm, because the joint and the shoulder joint is supposed to move. The scapula is supposed to rotate. The humerus is supposed to have, you know, a great range of motion. They work together synergistically. Once you're sitting down in a desk, once you're sitting down in a chair, you're doing like a repetitive movement over and over again. You start changing the structure of the shoulder. You start changing the structure of the joint. You start putting your joint more at risk because things get tight. And that bone right here, this little socket, the humerus, and the socket that's supposed to fit so nicely in, this is just, I mean, this is not to scale, I'm just trying, this starts to become like, it starts to move in closer or get pulled to the front. So now this is like, do a dotted line, it's over here more. So there's more chance for rubbing and friction. And when there's more chance of rubbing and friction, there's more chance of inflammation. And when there's more chance of inflammation, there's more chance of rubbing and friction, which means there's more chance of inflammation. So it's this vicious cycle that keeps on perpetuating until you can barely move your arm. You need surgery, you need a shot, you need to just stop doing exercise. So it's important to have balance. So when you're doing a chest press, the reason why a lot of people hurt their shoulders during chest, and you float some thumbs or some hearts if you ever hurt your shoulder or had shoulder pain from doing a bench press, or doing chest day, you hurt your shoulder. You didn't hurt your pectoralis muscle. You didn't hurt your chest muscle. You didn't hurt the man titties or the women titties. You hurt your shoulder. If you ever hurt your shoulder doing a bench press, you hurt the rotator cuff. You didn't tear your pec. Very rarely does someone tear their pec. That's fucking hard to do. You tore your rotator cuff, or you injured your rotator cuff, or you hurt your shoulder, or you're backing up out of a parking space. You put your arm back and you hurt your shoulder, or you're picking up your purse off the ground, or your backpack, or a bag, or whatever, or a gym bag, and you hurt your shoulder. You hurt your rotator cuff, those small stabilizers. That's why I'm always pushing yoga. That's why I have that in my 90-day program. That's why I do all the stabilization exercise. That's why I do all that balancing and all that neutralizing and those mobility exercises and mobility workouts in the 90-day dash program. That's why I put it in there to begin with, to minimize the risk here of having issues when you're doing heavy strength training. Most of you are doing strength training, but you don't have the proper foundation. You don't have the base of your pyramid. You're just fucking doing stuff at the top, and that's why you're chronically getting hurt. So that's bad news. So when you're doing a bench press, okay, and you're holding right here, you are internally rotating, you're abducting, and you're putting a lot of pressure up here in the shoulder. You're shrugging up a lot, your upper traps are overactivated, so you're getting a lot of like pressure, and then you're just grinding. When you do reverse, you'll notice that my arms are more down by the side. Now, this is actually, this angle, if I'm doing a press here, this is actually, this angle here with the humerus, this is actually an angle where you would put your arm. If you hurt your rotator cuff, you would put in a sling and it would go right here. You would have a pad right here and you'd have a sling for a rotator cuff injury. So when you're doing a reverse bench, it actually puts your humerus in a proper position. You're not rotating, you're not really abducted, you're closer to where it is comfortably. So your shoulder is in a much safer position, not to mention you're working more of the upper area of the chest. So it usually kills two birds with one stone. So if you have problems with your shoulder and pain or issues with the upper chest, go for a reverse bench or go for dumbbells where you can rotate and adjust. But stay away from that overhand grip in general, especially if you have shoulder problems. So the reverse bench, so some benefits, reverse bench, and we can go for like the standard or like the standard overhand. So you have better shoulder position. Rotated internally. You don't have to know what these words mean. Some of you will. And abducted, that just means that the shoulder was, you know, it's away from the body, that's abduction, and the shoulder is rotated in. The humerus is rotated in. So you're getting a lot of twisting and stuff in there. Better shoulder, upper chest, activation. Here, it depends. It depends. So if you compare it, it depends on compensation. On compensations, because if you have shoulder imbalances, if you have upper cross syndrome, if you're rounded, if your posture sucks, then when you're doing a bench press, you're gonna feel it more in your shoulders. And some of you do this already. Some of you might be doing bench press or pushing and feel it more in your shoulders. You might be doing chest exercises and feel it more in your triceps when you're doing them. And that's because you have muscular imbalances, because you don't do yoga, because you don't do mobility work, because you're not doing these total body awareness workouts that I always promote in my programs and stuff. You're not doing this type of balancing and resetting for your body. So it depends on your compensation, depends on if you're gonna feel it in your chest or not, if you have good form. Reverse bench, you know, you can do it, can be done with barbell. I mean, dumbbell, yeah, you probably do a dumbbell too. I mean, I would start with, I would just start with barbell. I guess you could do it with dumbbell. So I'll say barbell, dumbbell, and standard, you know, the same. So you have some benefits there, but it's safer for your shoulder, more upper chest development, and it's easier to do the chest exercise. It's easier to do reverse because here's the thing. When you start rotating for a standard bench press, once you start rotating internally, once you start abducting, you put your shoulder in a position that's probably tight, it's probably uncomfortable. So then you're gonna start getting like that compensation. But if you're already in a comfortable position, you're less likely to compensate, you're less likely to round, you're less likely to protract, you're less likely to put your body in an awkward position that's gonna hit your shoulders too much or that's gonna hit your triceps too much. Because if you are in a comfortable shoulder position, your body has to compensate less for your tightness. So the reverse bench, you'll be able to hit the form a little bit better from the start. One of the problems would only be balance. You know, if you've never done reverse bench before, just drop the weight a lot less than you would normally. Put on if you normally do like a 185 or 225, put on just a 25 and just get used to the form, because you put on too much weight, it'll be like, whoa, and it'll slip off. You have to come up on the bench a little bit higher because you have to unrack it a certain way or get a spotter. So just play around with it, but be careful because you don't have the coordination yet. If you've never done it, you don't want to like hurt your shoulder trying to rack it, or it slides off your hand and hits you in the face. Like you have to, you know, it could be awkward on your wrist a little bit. That's one of the only downsides of the reverse bench, is that you're not holding it like this with a thumb. You might be holding it a little bit weirder in order to grab it. So make sure when you're racking it, you have to get your head really high up, but you don't want to hit the support. So make sure that you keep an eye on that. So there is your Flex Friday. There's your Flex Friday for you. I thought we would go a little bit more harder, ham bone Jones into the muscles. Remember, if you have not jumped in, if you go to the gym never heard of this shit. You don't know half the stuff that I'm fucking talking about when it comes to compensations, when it comes to imbalances. This is the time where you take your shit more seriously. Now is the time for you to jump onto that 90-day dash program because, like I said, it's Flex Friday. I slashed $100 off, so you can use the coupon code Flex Friday and click the link in the description if you want more exercises that will help your compensations. If you want yoga, that's gonna help balance you out. If you're tired of doing chest and not hitting your fucking chest, if you're tired of not hitting your fucking chest when you go to the gym for chest day, you need to start balancing yourself out. You need the myofascial release. You need the foam roll. You need the stretching. You need the balance. You need the small muscle fiber activation. You need the type 1 fibers. You need the slow twitch. You need the mobility. You need the scapular. You need the scapular rhythm. You need the scapulohumeral rhythm. You need the shoulder girdle and the shoulder joint to work together. You need the thoracic spine to be able to rotate. You need the hips to unlock so it can allow the lats to move freely. You need these things. And if I just said fucking gibberish to you, then you should not be waiting another fucking day, because if you are in the dark with what I just said, literally what I just said is how the human body works. That's how your body works. Those are watching on Instagram, those are watching on Facebook. That's how your body works. So if you don't know what the fuck I just said, you're missing the point when it comes to fitness. You're just missing it. And that can be dangerous. And that can lead to injuries and even more so, just lack of results. So thank you so much for joining me for episode 406 of the Daily Mother Swole, the most muscular podcast, livecast, broadcast, Swolecast. In the realm, because when I flex, you flex, we all flex. Boop. Our biceps, live every day, 12 noon Eastern time, Facebook. Catch them on YouTube and also the SoundCloud and iTunes podcast. Thank you for joining me again on Instagram Live and playing around with that. So if you're watching Instagram Live, thanks for checking me out. Remember, in my Instagram profile, the link is clickable. The link is clickable also in the description of this post here on Facebook. If you're interested in starting and having that mapped out for you, my 90-day dash program, use the code FlexFriday, good all day today for $100 off, because I fucking love helping people make sick fucking gains. I will see everyone in a little bit later on. Catch you on Snapchat, Instagram stories. Peace, McGee's, Deuce, Magoose, and of course I'll see you all tomorrow at 12 noon East time for episode 407. Later.